Hello, dear students. Welcome again to another session of our History e-class. So, this is our second session on changing cultural traditions, and we are going to look at science and philosophy. And we'll also take a look at the Arabs' contribution to Renaissance. Now, the writings of Greeks and Romans were actually known to the monks and the clergymen. They read through it and they were aware of it. But there was no way how they could make this available to the common man or to the people. Now, in the 14th century, many scholars began to read translated works of Greek writers like Plato and Aristotle. Then Arab translators they carefully preserved and translated the work of Plato and Aristotle, and in Arabic they are referred to as Aflatun and Aristu. The Greeks translated the works of Arabic and Persian scholars and for further transmission to Europe, and that's how the knowledge spread. These were works on natural science, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, and chemistry. Now, we've already heard of Ptolemy's Almagest, this which was a work on astronomy. It was written in Greek before 140 CE and later it was translated into Arabic, and that's how it was known as Al-Majisti. The Arabic article Al brings out its Arabic connection. Then Ibn Sina, we have again earlier spoken about Ibn Sina and his canon on medicine, which had about a list of 760 drugs that were sold by pharmacists. So he was known as Avicenna in the European world. So he was an Arabic physician, philosopher of Bukhara in Central Asia. Then there was Al-Razi, who's commonly known as Razis. He was also an author of medical encyclopedia. Then Ibn Rushd, known as Averroes in Latin. He was an Arab philosopher of Spain, and he tried to resolve the tension between the philosophical knowledge and religious beliefs. So he was known as the Philosophe who tried to resolve this through his rational thinking. And his method was adopted by the Christian thinkers. Humanists reached out to the people in a variety of ways. Firstly, through the curricula in universities, they continue to be dominated by law, medicine, and theology. Humanist subjects now slowly began to be introduced in schools, not just in Italy, but in other countries as well. So, here we must remember that schools this time were meant only for boys. Girls' education had not become common. Formal education was not the only way through which humanists shaped the minds of their age. Now, this result of this humanism was seen in art, architecture, and books that were wonderfully effective in transmitting these ideas. Artists also, in their work, we could see realism. Artists were inspired by studying the works of the past. The material remains of Roman culture were sought with excitement, and they saw it and they tried to study it and they tried to include that in their art. Then fragments of art were discovered in the ruins of ancient Rome and other deserted cities as well. Their admiration for the figures of perfectly proportioned men and women, sculptured so many centuries ago, made Italian sculptors want to contribute and to continue that tradition. So, anatomy, geometry, physics, as well as strong sense of what was beautiful, gave a new quality to the Italian art, which was called realism and which continued till the 19th century. Realism was seen in sculpture as well. Donatello broke a new ground with his lifelike statues that were as big as a human being. Then artists concerned to be accurate with the help of work of scientists. Now, to be very, very accurate in the proportion and the bodily structures that they made, they tried to study bone structures. They went to the laboratories of medical schools to understand that and make it accordingly. Then there was Andreas Vesalius. He was a Belgian and a professor of medicine at the University of Padua. He was the first to dissect the human body, and this was the beginning of what we call modern physiology. Now, here is the painting by Albert Dürer. Now, this was a brush drawing, and through this painting, we can understand that it gives us a sense of Italian culture in the 16th century when people were very religious and they prayed to God as an act of whatever they wanted and to express their gratitude to God. Now, Dürer said that art is embedded in nature and he who wants to extract it has it. So, moreover, you may demonstrate much of your work by geometry. He says that the more closely your work abides by life in its form, so much better it will be. So, he says that no one can just create anything just by imagination. So, you have to very carefully observe it to make your creation more lifelike. So, he says that unless he has well stored it in his mind, much copying from life. No, so paintings were made as realistic as possible. Of course, knowledge of geometry helped in creating exact proportions. Then, by changing the quality of light, their pictures acquired a three-dimensional quality. And the use of oil as a medium of painting also gave greater richness of the color. Now, Leonardo da Vinci, of course, he was a great genius of his time and a real Renaissance man, as we know. And he had a range of interests from botany to anatomy, mathematics, as well as art. He painted the famous Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. One of his dreams was to be able to fly. So he spent years observing birds in flight and designed a flying machine. And he signed his name as Leonardo da Vinci, disciple of experiment. So he tried and carry out a number of experiments to understand and study things of his interest. What we see here is this, on the screen is the famous painting of Mona Lisa. Now this is an oil painting. Presently it is housed at Louvre Museum in Paris, and this has captivated audiences for centuries. And her famous smile and her gaze is something that till date there are a large number of people who visit the museum to see this painting. Then the next one is the Last Supper, which is a painting to depict the last meal that Jesus had with his 12 disciples. And it was at this supper that he told that one of you is going to betray him, and one of his disciples by the name of Judas is the one who betrayed him. So this is depicted in this painting. Then another genius was Michelangelo, and you can see this beautiful sculpture, the Pieta, which is Mary holding the body of Jesus. Michelangelo was again a painter, a sculptor, and an architect. He painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel in Rome for the Pope. He made the sculpture called the Pieta. Actually, in Italian, it is Pieta in Rome. And he designed the dome of St. Peter's Church. And here you can see the Sistine Chapel frescoes, the paintings that are made on the ceiling. They're all biblical stories which are depicted. And the one on the extreme right is the creation of Adam. Then architecture, as the popes became politically stronger, they actively encouraged the study of Rome's history. The ruins in Rome were excavated by archaeologists, and archaeology developed as a new skill at this time, and people began to appreciate it. And this inspired new Roman style in architecture. And this was actually a revival of the imperial Roman style, and now which was called classical. Architects, artists, and sculptors were employed to create classical architecture that was decorated with paintings and sculpture. Now, this is Michelangelo's design of the dome of St. Peter's Church in Rome, and you can see outside. Now, he has used his skills as a sculptor and as an artist. So, outside, you can see beautiful sculptures outside the dome, and inside, you can see some fresco paintings. Then Brunelleschi was again a great artist and sculptor. He designed the spectacular dome of this Florence cathedral. This is a double shelled dome and is original in section and designed around a skeleton of 24 ribs, of which 8 are visible on the exterior, and the structure is anchored at the top with a heavy lantern. Now this was a great architectural skill which nobody else had done up till now. So, another remarkable change that we see here was that artists were now known individually by name and not as members of a group or a guild. And that's how we know that this dome is being designed by Brunelleschi or the painting is by Michelangelo. So, like that, they came to be known. And till date, their sculpture and paintings are being recognized and visited by people just to see what they have created, the marvels that they have created. So much for this session. We'll continue again. Thank you and have a nice day.